All right. It is 6 o'clock. The end is here, brothers and sisters. It's time to end all misconceptions about what's been going on and give you clarity about what's going on in the industry. So, as y'all come in, give me a sound check. Let me know everything is okay and stuff, and we'll give you a few minutes and get ready to drop this heavy game about what's been going on these last couple months. All right, Terrence the trucker. Okay, we sounding good. Mr. Cunningham, thank you again. Preacher, thank you again for giving me that sound check and stuff. And so we're gonna allow a few more other people and stuff to get in and end the misconception about what's been going on in the trucking industry because people are, shout out to my man Rick, you know, shout out to my man Rick that's been calling out some of these brokers, but unfortunately, it's a little too little, too late because these things have been going on in the industry for quite some time, and now a lot of own operators, independent drivers, lease anything that's in position. What you're finding yourselves. All right, Mr. Robinson. Good evening. How's everybody? Everybody's fine, Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robbins, excuse me, Mr. Robbins. Um, what's been going on is simply things have caught up, right? You reap what you sow. You definitely reap what you sow and stuff. And so you can keep on running. You can keep on running and stuff. But the thing is that eventually that of which you're running away from is going to catch up with you and you're going to have to deal with it one way or the other. You know, we are, it's just like a disease like cancer. The best way to deal with cancer is to discover it early when it's in the first stage or whatever, but just like treatment, you can't administer a level one treatment and you got stage two. If you can't get a stage one treatment and you're in stage two. And what's happened is we're in stage four where it's terminal now. And you can't expect some cure to just come out of nowhere and fix your problem when the solution was right there the whole time. We just had to implement it. But because of us not organizing or not taking the situation seriously, because we think that we know a little bit better, we think that um, we're safe because the economy is somehow not going to be to a point to where ELD mandate wasn't going to come into fruition. Mind you, there was always testing stuff that was going on with the mega carriers. You had Warner, who got their ELD certificate back in 1998. They got their certificate in 1998. Many other carriers failed suit. They were the only ones that got the certificate to run electronic logs. The other people were doing a simulated program, for instance, Snyder, with the Qualcomm system. Um, what they did is that it interfaced into the truck. And so once you moved it, you had 16 hours to do whatever it is that you had to do. You had to do you had to do a consecutive 8-hour break under the old law. So, if I lose people under the old law, I'll explain that too. But under the old law, you used to, you just had to show 8 hours. You had to show 8-hour break in a 24-hour period. You didn't have to show 8-hour consistent. It was just you showed that you did 8 hours in a break, and That's what qualified as a break. So, you had the splits that people are talking about with the 10, with the 4 on, 4 off, two broken load seems like scrap real deal. Yeah, so just like I was explaining some water flow, when I looked at the timer and stuff, man, I think we was up there about 3 hours chopping up this good game. And so um let's see. Over the years, a lot of truck YouTubers made all the videos on how to establish relationship with brokers, how to negotiate with brokers, pros, con. Okay, now there was the problem right there. There was the problem right there and stuff. It was not about trying to establish a relationship. It was never about trying to establish a relationship. That's going to be established anyway because you got a truck, they got loads. Things got to be done. You see what I'm saying? You render a service, they render a service, and we're going to be providing the service for compensation, resource, making money. All right. Now, follow me, ladies and gentlemen, because we got my man Rick that's going to Washington, D.C. and doing something that we've already done tried to do many, many years ago. The reason why the trucking industry is in the way that it's in the shape that it's in is because when there was a problem, and the problem has always existed, when it was time to implement a solution, we could not organize to a point to get the job done. And so instead of people organizing to implement a solution to the problem that we were having, we would find other ways. And this is life. We will find other ways and stuff. And so the other ways are the road of least resistance. You see, as long as you can find a loophole in whatever regulation was coming down rather than challenging the very regulation itself, that's the path that people chose. And so people tend to think that on this spot market, right, that, oh, well, back in the day, you could make money. Back in the day, you could make money and stuff. And so I would ask people and stuff, okay, explain, where was this money coming from? Oh, well, the rates were a lot different. I beg to differ. The rates were the same and stuff. And, I showed them rate confirmations from lows that I did back in 2010 and 11 and 12 and 13. And you can see a consistency in the rates. So if rates never changed and stuff, and we're over here in 2020, and I'm showing you rate confirmations from 10 years ago, then where was the change and stuff in the rates? And so nobody can ever explain. So we're going to put an end to this. The reason why drivers were able to make money is because as long as you was on paper, as long as you was on paper, you had the ability to keep on moving without anyone saying anything to you or without anything being done. There was no one tracking you. There was no one asking you any questions about if you had hours or not. It was just you being truthful about what information that you had. That's it. That's how you made money because you was on paper. Loads never really paid anything off the spot market, but it's just like a person that works 10 hours and another person that works 20 hours. All the overtime that you can make, if a person, all the only thing you got to do is you have the strength and the energy to endure. And as long as you can do it, money was made. So if a person doing a 10-hour job or a person that's doing a 10-hour job is going to make more money than a person that's making 8 hours. Same thing like a person that does 20 hours a day versus a person that does 10 hours a day. They're going to make more money because they're on the clock. Same thing about the spot market. If you can combine two loads to make one bad load a good load. So if you're going, so at the end of the week, whether you're turning into a company you're leased on, or if you got your own authority and you're turning into your, um, if you're turning in and stuff to your factoring company, you got 8 grand, you got $8,000, $10,000 in revenue, then of course you're going to do very good. But see, when the e-logs were implemented and now people can see exactly what you're doing, when it hit zero, you actually got to stop and take a break. Now everything is changed. Now everything is changed. And so let's go back to 2010. Okay. Um, Many people weren't even considering getting their own authority. The only reason why you got your own authority is because you got a contract. You got your contract, and it was a pretty solid contract. It was a pretty solid contract. Most people were just thinking about leasing on with the carrier as long as the carrier had good benefits. And these good benefits consisted on, you know, they was on logs and the logs was paper and they weren't stressing you. Safety department wasn't stressing you, and you got your money. That's what it consisted of. There was a lot of carriers and stuff that was out there. In fact, that's what their focal points is. Feel it's too late also because of a deal comes into play. It will take months, if not years, to get it started. And if there is no minimum pay to the carrier, it's going to be a maximum, which will hurt. Okay. I'm gonna get I'm gonna cover that and stuff. And so I'm gonna cover that and let's see, like lawyers and real estate agents, do they have a set percentage that they can charge up to no more than the percentage that they got organized with how they get paid? Okay. All right, I'm gonna cover all this. I'm gonna cover all this and stuff, man. Just give me a little time and stuff. Okay. Um First, before I proceed, does anyone know when the original ELD mandate was supposed to come into fruition? The original one, not the secondary one that we got now. The first one, the first ELD mandate. Can anyone tell me when? All right. Can anyone tell me and stuff out there when the original ELD mandate was supposed to come into fruition? And if you do know the information, then how was it stopped? How was the first mandate stopped? If you know the original date, and if you can tell me how it stopped and stuff, just let me know. So that way everybody's on par and stuff, because this is also important too. Okay. Um the original ELD mandate was July 16th, 2012. That was the original ELD mandate where all carriers had to have electronic logs. The OOIDA, the Own Operator Independent Driver Association, challenged challenged the FMCSA, and they got the mandate moved. They challenged them on the same thing, the same law that um the guys that drove buses, the Greyhound Trail, no, Trail, it was Trailway. Trailway challenged the Department of Transportation when the first electronic logs were supposed to go in. They beat them on a 1989 law. The Own Operator Independent Driver Association, they came in with the same thing that they never tackled. And that's how they got the ELDs overturned in 2012. They got the mandate overturned. So the FMCSA said that, well, we're not going to implement. It's not going to be a mandate. But what we're all going to do is that we're going to increase audits into the companies. Now, mind you, at the time, 75% of the industry was on electronic logs. They were simply looking at all the mega carriers. This was in 2000. This was in 2010. 75%. So, what the FMCSA said was, what we're going to start doing, we're going to start doing audits on companies. And if 10% of your audits come from log violations, hours of service violations, if 10% of your violations come from that, then you're gonna have to go on electronic log and stuff under your authority. Yes, it was 2012, July 16th, 2012. That's when the original mandate was supposed to come in. So, like I said, the OIDA got it overturned and stuff. The FMCSA said that they was going to increase audits on companies, and if 10% of the violations that you get in your audits consist of hour service violations, which means that if they do an audit, right? If they do an audit and they're checking to see if you got maintenance, checking to see your maintenance records, checking to see if everything, all your stuff in your company's on the up and up. All you needed was one violation, and that will consist of 10%. So if they found one violation, they would tell you in conclusion that you would have to run under, in order for you to continue to operate under your own authority, under this authority here, you have to run electronic logs. Okay. So what also happened at the same time and stuff, right? Because again, the FMCSA is organized. They are a organized unit. In order for you to get a business of any kind, right, you first need an EIN number. Once you get an EIN number, in order to get your authority, you can do either one or two ways. You can either file it yourself, and the reason why a lot of people choose to go the other route, which gets people to file for them. Let's see, and it stopped because their own operators wouldn't make money and will hurt them drastically. They didn't care. They didn't care about the money. It didn't. It didn't matter about the money because again, nothing got done. When the mandate got pushed back, right? Nothing got done. Remember, they implemented the fact that they said, okay, you don't have to do a mandate, right? We're not doing a mandate. We are increasing audits. And so the audit now, if you fail the audit, you have to go on electronic log. And so if you were an established company, if you were an established company, right? And they came in, they did the audit, and then you got to go on electronic logs. Then let's see, 2000 was the first time, 2010. Um 2010 was the second attempt according to GPS track, but it was for the region state. Okay, yo. All right, trucking with blue money. All right. Now, again, if you are an established company and they tell you got to go electronic logs, right? Because you failed the audits, because you got 10% of violations. That's what they implemented back in 2011. So, the audits came. Okay, the audits came and stuff, and so people thought that they were gonna get around it somehow and stuff. And so the way of getting around it was to just go and apply for new numbers, which was simple task and stuff at the time. Everybody, most of the people that was doing it, um, most of the people that was doing it, you know, as long as you weren't under some kind of no competition contract and stuff, but again, it didn't have nothing to do with FMCSA. Um, you can just go and apply for some new numbers and stuff. So, hey, um, we're just going to they told you that you got to go ELD. Fine. We're just going to find I'm just going to apply for some new numbers and stuff. And that's it. Okay. We're just going to move our credits and stuff. We're going to move our credits, all our business over to this new number that we have. Right. That's the way companies used to do when, if your safe stat score and stuff got bad enough. Right, because they were always doing audits and stuff like that. The thing was, they weren't doing audits to the degree that they're doing it now. You see, you had to really do something bad. You had to really be operating bad and stuff, for someone to come in and audit you. And you know, even then, they was just simply looking at a few pieces of paperwork and stuff, and then the rest of the day, you just knew if you gave them some donuts and coffee, bought them, treat them out to a real good meal and stuff, while they going through this paperwork or whatever. Then, the next day they told you, well, we're not coming. Well, they told you at the end of the day, we're not coming in tomorrow. Everything seems to be in order, and that was that. So as long as you weren't out here killing anybody and stuff. And so, we all knew that where all most of the accidents and stuff were occurring, which saved a lot of people at the time and stuff. But now when you putting everybody on the same even scale, right? When you're putting everybody on the same even scale and stuff, even though you are decreasing regulation to get into the industry. See, it used to be a little bit difficult to become a truck driver. Now it's become more simple. But even though it's become more simple, especially like with the equipment and stuff that we operate, that even with these safety devices and stuff that they put in these trucks now, you notice that some of the incidents and accidents and fatalities have increased with these same people that emphasize safety. Just a little food for thought. But so to apply for new numbers it used to be no big deal, but then they changed all that because they knew that's what companies was going to do. You got to go to electronic log. Okay, no, I'm just going to go and apply for some new numbers and stuff, and that was that. So um they follow everything based upon your EIN number, right? They follow everything based upon your EIN number. So when you apply for your EIN number, what you're going to be doing is basically moving everything over, right? Another person does it, Even if another person does it, you're going to be in some kind of partnership because of the credits and stuff that you have, the business transactions that you have established. Back in the '90s, my dad gave me $500 tip, and everything went away. Yep. So the thing is that everyone has an EIN number and it follows, right? So a person they may establish and get the numbers or whatever, but your credit is good enough for you to get the trucks and the trailers and the business and so on and so forth. Now, because of your EIN number being moved over, right, into this new company, but at the same time you're still associated with this old company that had this audit and failed and said that, well, you know what, you're not going to be able to operate unless you have ELD. Now everything follows, and they say that you have to now change up your management. You now got to change up your management. So that means that as you apply brand new, everything else has to be based upon you. No partnerships. If the partnerships come in, we're going to have to check them. And when we check them and see the history of them and stuff like that, they can't come in into your establishment, right? And if they come into your establishment, you got to run ELD because that's what they had to do. So people kept running. These own operators and stuff, they kept running. These own operators, these lease drivers and stuff, they kept running. Okay, well, I'll just find me another carrier where we can still run on paper. And there were plenty of carriers and stuff that was out there. In fact, they were advertising it. One that was very famous with that was CRST Malone. CRST Malone, which is affiliated with CRST, which is CRST is the biggest expedited carrier in the country. CRST was on electronic logs. CRST Malone, which is the flatbed outfit of CRST, was not. And one of the things that they emphasized was the fact that we are not on ELD and we are not going to get on ELD. We're not on it and we're not going to get on it. So, you know, there was a difference and stuff. Many people and stuff would talk about CRST and say, oh man, that was the most horriblest outfit and stuff that was out there. But then when it came to CRST Malone, there was something a little bit different. And so, what was the difference? As long as I can stay on that paper, as long as I can stay on that paper, I can continue to make paper. So, meanwhile, inside the brokering agencies and stuff like that, rates never changed. Rates never changed and stuff. In fact, what happened was is that you got two types of people that's out here now. You have those that are on ELD and those that are not on ELD. And so the ones that were on ELD couldn't do the loads and stuff, that the brokers were offering, which was next day delivery because you still run a risk, even though you probably could do the load. But one of the questions that they would ask you is that, are you on ELD? You told them, yeah. Well, man, listen, we can't use you. This was the spot market. You call in, that's one of the questions that they will ask you. Are you on ELD? You're not. If you are, they hung the phone up on you and they just told you, hey, listen, we can't use you. All right. Now, the people that weren't on it were able to take these loads and stuff. And so, the thing is that there was an increase in volume because the people that were on ELDs and stuff couldn't do the loads and stuff. And the ones that were still on paper, now they can get these loads and cover them too. So now you got like I said, you got two types of people. Now, the ones that were on ELD and stuff, we were saying, okay, hey man, listen, we need to unify. We need to go to Washington, D.C. and stuff, and explain our situation here because our money has definitely changed, right? So, you know, some of the carriers decided to raise up the pay, right, to equal out some of the things that you used to do. But the thing was is that these guys and stuff that was making money, that was on pay, on paper logs, they could sit there, they can do all right, one cheap load and then a cheap load. They get another load and stuff behind that. And so now the load's not so cheap anymore. That first load was garbage, but that second one, it's not garbage. And so now you're turning in 12, $1,300 a day. You're turning 12, $1,300 a day on a 5-day operation or a 7-day operation and stuff, again, people that was on ELD, their pay decreased because now they weren't able to go out here and handle the volumes of freight that was out here. And the ones that were on paper could handle the volume. That's why they always consistently continue to run. That's why you didn't hear much of these guys saying anything and stuff in the 2011s and the 12s and the 13s and the 14s and the 15s and the 16s. And so you see, business was good for these guys that was on paper. Anytime we try to organize to go over here to Washington, D.C. and stuff, it always ended in failure. They were talking about striking. They were talking about striking back in 2014. Again, they continued to go on with the process, even though Washington, D.C. was shut down, right? The government shut down and stuff because at the time, President Barack Obama, and I'm also going to cover that too and stuff, is that it doesn't matter your political affiliation, even though people want to throw those things out there too. Oh, well, it's a Republican problem, it's a Democrat problem. But anyway, the government was shut down and stuff, and they still proceeded with the strike, which came of no effect. People went to Washington, D.C., and nobody was there. So who are you trying to get the attention of? It ended in utter failure and stuff, the same way it did with Black Smoke Matters back in 2018. So, no, no, excuse me, not 18, 19, last year. So we were trying to tell guys and stuff, hey, listen, man, this thing and stuff is unfair. You know, if all of us can get together and stuff, man, and make regulation fair for everybody, then, you know, this can affect everybody to a point where everybody's making money. We can be organized. Oh no, we're not doing that. Hey, hey, that's your problem. I got my own authority. That's your problem. I'm making this money and stuff. That's your problem. You know, go get your own authority. But even with the guys and stuff that were getting their own authorities, they weren't organizing to a point because the thing that they were saying is that, oh well, the economy they can never put electronic logs and stuff in our trucks because um, the economy and stuff is just not good enough. It's not going to handle it. It's not going to be able to handle that. It's not going to be handled the mass amounts of freight and stuff that we're not going to be able to pull now because we're so regulated. The same thing that's being said about autonomous trucks. Everybody's making all these excuses and thinking that it's not going to happen, and bam, it happened. Why? because everybody thought that it wasn't going to happen. Okay, well, you know, as far as us organizing and stuff like that, we didn't stand behind those that were on the front line. You had OIDA that went and did the best that they could, but again, they didn't have the support. You had a few politicians that was up there that was lobbying and stuff, and again, there was no support for them. There wasn't an outpour of support from the motoring public, which is us, right? Because it was going to affect all of us collectively. But again, nobody did anything. Everybody was saying, look, I'm about making my money and stuff. That's it. It's your problem and stuff. You deal with it. So, as all this was going on, right? Nobody asked for an increase in the rates because, again, hey, I can just do the loads and stuff like that. I can do two, three loads. I'm still making money and stuff like that. It's no big thing. I'm turning in, even with the rates being that they are, I'm still turning in 8 to 12 to 14, gross. Oh man, the ELD drivers and stuff, man, they just suffering. They just messing the road and stuff up. That's what the thing there and stuff. The people that was on paper, they were complaining about the people that was on ELD. Man, these guys over here pulling over on the side of the road and stuff like that. They just messing everything up. Not understanding that the regulation was going to affect everyone sooner or later. So everyone was making money. As long as people was making money, everyone was satisfied. So we moved to 2 years later, 2016. The mandate is coming in 2018. And so, well, the way things are looking, things ain't looking too good and stuff. It seems like the thing that people was talking about, right? About how we can never, now all trucks and stuff wasn't going to be able to be equipped with ELDs and stuff was starting to come into fruition. And so everyone's last ditch at everybody's last ditch effort with this stuff was to just increase on the run and stuff. Get as much money as you can. Get as much money as you can and stuff. And so um people started discovering that there was a loophole in the law, which was as long as your truck was under 1999, then your truck doesn't have to be equipped with electronic logs. And so people start focusing more on getting glider kits and getting these older trucks and stuff like that. And so, at first people couldn't understand it. Like, well, hey, it's a boom in all these older trucks now and stuff. Trucks sitting in the junkyard and stuff. And, you know, as long as they as long as the body and stuff is straight, okay, well, people started buying all the 3806 the 3408s. They started buying all the 3408s and M14 Cummins and the Detroit 60 series and stuff like that. People just stocking up on the parts, seeing they can find the engine and stuff like that. Doesn't have to be a crate. We'll just go ahead and build it and stuff like that. And so it was an increase, but people couldn't figure it out. Why is everybody buying all these old trucks and stuff? And so you remember back in 2016, 2017, they said truck sales for newer trucks had decreased, even though there was a boom in truck sales. And so everybody was fixated on just getting that 99 truck. Why? So I can stay on paper. As long as I'm on paper, I can continue to make paper because if I'm on this e-log stuff, right, I ain't gonna be able to make money. And so customers had to come up with the decision to say that, well, even though there's going to be some guys and stuff, right, that can understand the loophole and stuff, right, we're going to have to change up our operations. And so as time went on and we got down to the 0 hours, brokers would now start to make the change and say, well, hey, the loads that you pick up, we're going to give you more than enough time to get over here to these facilities and so on and so forth. That's what they were doing. They were making the adjustments. And so now if you got on the spot market, it was a little bit more easier and stuff for you to get a load. They weren't hanging up on you as fast. Okay, you're on electronic logs. Okay, that's fine. That's good. This load right here will work out fine for you. In fact, we'll make the adjustment to make sure that you have on time delivery and that you're not sitting on the load long enough. But there was never no increase in rates. There was never no increase in rates and stuff. And that was your spot market. That was your spot market. So contract freight, on the other hand, the reason why contract freight once upon a time wasn't very favorable because of two things. Number one, management. Number one, management. And number two, the prices. You see, a spot market, a spot market load is something that you can pick up, you can deliver and stuff, as fast and quick as possible, make that money, keep on moving. Contract freight, on the other hand, has stipulations. And so, you serve a certain customer, you get to a facility, there may be a bit of a wait time and stuff as far as picking it up, as far as delivering. Now the rate was going to always stay consistent, but at the time, the spot market the spot market had fair rates and stuff. In fact, you know, how did you sit there and set up some of your contract rates and stuff like that to price it fairly? Spot market. You see what the average rate is and stuff going on the spot market, going on the spot market based upon the lane that you run. Based upon the lane that you run, you can go ahead and you can set it. In fact, when you got on the spot market, you can sit there, you didn't owe anybody anything and stuff. So you could tell them, hey, listen, I want $300-400 more than what you're offering. And if you was a good negotiator, then that's what you got. That's what you got. But the contract stuff, on the other hand, it just promised consistency. It just promised consistency and stuff. And so, consistency wasn't something that people was looking at very favorably because the spot market offered consistency. It offered consistency, and you got paid and stuff a lot quicker. So for those and stuff who got the contract freight and stuff, and you start dealing with the management team and stuff that was over there, they just ran stuff just so disorganized that now you see a lot of these carriers and stuff going out of business. That's why, because when they got the contract freight, they mismanagement. They mismanagement so much and stuff. They just um, where the loads and stuff were supposed to go to, it wasn't going in the right place. And so, again, when you're locked into a contract and now you can't find people to haul your loads. Now you got to dig in your own pocket just to get this stuff moving, so that somebody can come back next week and say, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and sign a contract and stuff with you, right? You know, just to find out that, well, hey, listen, that was a one-time thing I did last week and stuff. This is how much it actually pays. Oh yeah, that's it. No, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. Contract freight is favorable now because of the current situation we're in now and stuff with the corona. See, when you're locked in, you're locked in. If you don't produce anything, fine, you don't have to. You still got to pay. There are no rollovers or nothing like that. So, if our agreement is that you're gonna be pushing out 7 loads, and well, for whatever reason, let's see, any advice on Monel scanners, printers, or just track on? Depends on who you deal with. It depends on who you deal with and stuff. But now most people and stuff, they got things down. They got most of the stuff down to a pat where you just send it to them directly and they just gonna pay you. So I mean, Transflow, Trip Pack, and all this stuff there. I mean, they fade into obscurity now because people have so much of a um you know whoever you get loads and stuff from now and stuff. People that are still in it, they got enough credit. They got enough credit and stuff to sit there and just pay you up front. So I wouldn't be investing in anything and stuff other than what you can get on the smartphone to make sure that you get your load from the time you deliver it to whoever you're doing the load for. Um, so anyway, dealing with contract freight and stuff, now everybody's making out like a fat cat if you're in it. Everyone's making out like a fat cat if you're in it, because the thing is that whether you produce or not, you still got to pay. Plants and stuff are shutting down. Let's see. I am like you. I waited until I got a contract before I got authority. It's interstate for for now, but looking for another contract before I leave my trip. Okay. Yeah. But preacher, like I said, in your case and stuff, I would make sure before I make any moves and stuff that I am 100%. Make sure make sure your doctor tell you that you are 100% medically cleared, right? Because you don't want to be doing this thing at 80%. You don't want to be doing it at 80% and stuff like that. Make sure that your body is at 100%. If it's not that and stuff, then where you are, you're taking advantage of the situation and stuff, and so it's working to your favor and stuff. I would say stick out there until you are 100% clear on your medical. But so now we got my man Rick. We got my man Rick that's going up here and exposing. That's what I'm waiting on until then. Okay, yeah. So yeah, just until you're straight medically and stuff, then um, the other thing, the other thing and stuff, is that some of the activities and stuff that you kind of enjoy, you kind of back up off of that. You know what I'm saying? Cause you don't want you don't want anything from you don't want anything recreational to kind of stop you from going into things and stuff with business. Cause I mean, I know we enjoy recreational activities and stuff like that, but just some things and stuff are just deemed dangerous. And, you know, unfortunately, that's why I had to give up my motorcycle. That's why I had to give up my motorcycle stuff. I know I can ride and stuff, but the problem is just the people around me and they make a mistake. And then, now you're back and forth and stuff. And I mean, recreational is a little bit more harder to fight than something in business. You see what I'm saying? Like you're in this truck and then somebody hits you and stuff like that. It's all business and they focus on it right then. But recreational, they want to turn around and now look at you and say, "Oh well, you must have did something too, right?" And now you're back and forth with that, and then you're looking and you got years into it before they realize, okay, yeah, it was our fault. We go ahead and cut this check and all this other stuff here. But meanwhile, you still got to do things in order to survive. You know, I know, I know, man, and you got. I ain't gonna say you got the beast of beast, but you definitely got. You definitely got one and stuff that with the right type of enhancements that thing can become very dangerous. You know, just put it like this. When you show up on and stuff, a lot of those on the 13s and stuff like that. Eh, they kind of frown up a little bit and stuff. They look at you funny. The Zoot people, the Zoot people, like, hey, you go over there and stuff, right? Take that mad cow to seas over there and stuff, right? But but yeah. So oh, that's first call for the day. So anyway, my man Rick going to Washington D.C. to lobby, to get the politicians and stuff like that to call out some of the brokers and stuff and the things and stuff that they've been doing. But brokers have been doing this, carriers have been doing this and stuff for I don't know how long. And so the thing is that it's going to be very difficult to do when you're going there versus people who have been doing these things for I don't know how long and they already got their lobbying team and stuff that's there. You know, it was the same deal and stuff, with guys that finally got a chance to go over here and talk to the FMCSA about doing something about electronic logs. And so because of them not being organized, the very things that they were saying was the PowerPoints for the FMCSA. And they were saying, this is the reason why we're doing the mandate. You just gave us the complete reason why we have to do the mandate, you know. And when you're not organized and stuff like that, and so I mean, like I said, shout out to my man Rick. I appreciate what he's doing and stuff, but there are certain other things and stuff that you got to cover too in the spectrum, about things that drivers also do too, that they will take and then use it against us as drivers. Like for instance, they say, well, brokers and stuff take lows and they keep the money and stuff and so on and so forth. Well, you as a driver, the thing is that we're always looking for something a little bit better. So, if somebody makes a phone, you got this load locked in, and again, it's off the spot market, right? And somebody calls you and stuff and they offer you something a little bit better than what you already got going into an area, a better area, what you gonna do? You're gonna give the load back. And then you're gonna give them some half blame excuse and stuff about why you had to give the load back and so on and so forth. But a lot of people like TQL, for instance, you know, you're gonna have to show some verification as to why you're backing up off that load. Because the thing is that they're ready. In fact, CH Robinson is ready. When they got a $1.1 billion lawsuit, and then it looks like the fact that they're gonna get the thing on, they're gonna get the case dismissed. $1.1 billion, and they're gonna get the case dismissed and stuff. Man, you're going up against a very powerful team. And when they had the resources and when they had the resources and stuff available, you know, they've been there for years and stuff, and they knew that eventually it was going to come to a point to where we were going to organize somewhat, right, to go to DC. Problem is that we're not organized enough. So they already got their people and stuff in play. And you're up against some very heavy hitters and stuff like that because of the resource that they can put down. You know, you're going in there to speak to the gospel, and you're gonna speak to the choir and stuff. They already know what's going on. Thing is that they're not gonna do anything about it because palms are being greased. That's why they're able to do a lot of things and stuff that they do. But we can also do the same thing too if we just organize. We got to have our people in play, to counter everything and stuff that's going on because they're going to hear you and they're going to say, yeah, you got some real good points and stuff. But the thing is that, you know, what you're also doing is cutting us off from, you're cutting us off and stuff from this money that these guys are paying based upon robbing you guys. So, they're not going to be cutting that off. But they'll let you sit there and say what you have to say and stuff like that. And again, more power to him. I hope he's successful. But I mean, I'm a person and stuff, man. I ain't going to say I like to be a realist. I am a realist, you know. And these PowerPoints that I'm putting out here and stuff is something that's already been discussed. Casanova 601, he was talking about this back in 2012, 2013, all the way up to 2016, giving everybody game about what we need to do and stuff in order to organize. But it fell on deaf ears and stuff, and people thought that, well, you know what, it can't happen. And guess what? It happened. Um, Casanova, Casanova, he moved on to bigger and better things. That's the short end of it. He told everybody that he was going to do this, and then he was saying it's time to say goodbye. And when he said that and stuff, when he said that, he did a seminar. He gave everybody that good game and stuff that was there. And so if you missed it, you missed something very important. And he moved on. For those and stuff that's close to him, they know he moved on to big and better things. He had better opportunities and stuff that was coming his way, and he, when his time came and stuff, he moved upon it. So trucking is his thing and stuff. Trucking is his thing and stuff. But he had better opportunities at better places, and so he got in it. But he was letting everybody know and stuff that he was here, but he was only gonna be here for a short time. And so I mean, the master teacher still the master teacher and stuff. He's very close by. He's still, um, you know, he might, like I said, he still chimes in and stuff like that. But the thing is that he got other things and stuff that he also managed to and stuff. And so that's the thing there. And so I hope that that information and stuff that I gave was helpful to a point to where we understand where we stand now as far as the spot market. So if there's any questions, I'll go ahead and take them and answer it up from there and stuff. So the other thing and stuff, why the questions and stuff are coming in is that if people that you listen to are not speaking about these things and stuff, right, then you have to question what kind of science are they putting down? What kind of science are they putting down and stuff? Because they can always talk about making money and so on and so forth and what needs to be done and you know this that or whatever and stuff. But are they telling you about the origin of things or why things and stuff the way that they are? Because they can point you in the direction and stuff. But again, you have to be familiarized. You got to be familiarized and stuff, about the things that you're going to be participating in. And so, it's very easy for a person to deceive, right? It's very important, people can deceive and make things think like, that's the way it is and stuff like that. But then when you start talking about the science, the real nitty gritty, the information that needs to be, you know, the information that needs to be put out there and stuff so people get to understand about it, they go dancing around it or they tell you, hey, listen, I can give it to you, but I gotta charge you. But they don't never have anything set up solid to where you can go and you can get that one-on-one and stuff. It's like, hey, listen, I'm busy. I got a whole bunch of things going on right now, so on and so forth. You know, when to organize, it does, to organize, to get things organized, it's not at a point to where I need to be capitalizing by charging, right? So our contract carriers not, yeah, they they have the ability to steal, but again, it's all based upon what you know and what you don't. All right. If you understand if you understand lane rates and stuff like that, like the contract load might be going for, let's just say, $1,500, right? This particular lane here and stuff is $1,500. All right. This is after they already done got whatever their cut is and stuff, they're 5%, 10% or whatever and stuff, right? And so, you know, they're paying you 15. Now, they might be paying this other guy 13. They might be paying another guy 12. They might be paying another guy 11. If they agree to take the load and stuff like that and stuff, then yeah, how much did they get? So you got for 13 and stuff, they got their percentage plus 200 off this guy, this one right here and stuff. And so, when we're organized, right, and this is the thing that we got to be passing along, which we somehow want to sit there and, okay, how much is this load paying and stuff like that? Oh man, shoot, I can't be telling you that. I can't be telling you that and stuff. Like I'm giving you too much. I'm giving you too much information. You know, I'm letting you know and stuff about my money and all that stuff there and everything. We don't need to be doing that. We need to have an understanding about what this lane and stuff is because the lane is going to be the lane. The rate is going to be the rate. It's not going to pay you more. It is going to pay less if you don't understand it and stuff. And so, if they got that stuff, if they got that lane locked in, and then you call and you're doing this low for 15, and then next week they saying, oh well, it's 14. Oh man, it's 14 this week. How can it be 14 if it's a contract? The contract is for a certain amount of time. It's like, you got years in it, 5 years, 10 years. Some people got lifetime contracts, you know. And so the money isn't going to change. It's locked in. So if it's locked in, then if you understand it, then you know that, all right, if I call this person, I do work and stuff for them, then this is what the rate is going to be. It's just like if you got the contract yourself, and stuff, and then um your contract says that, this lane right here, you're gonna be doing for $1,500, and then they come up short, they defaulted on their end of the contract. So they up the fines and penalties and whatever and stuff like that. Like, hey man, listen, I'm sorry for whatever reason and stuff. You can't, you a little short, but you need to go over here and get this money, and you need to get that money right now and stuff because we're locked in. And see, when you locked in and stuff again, just like your contract, it's just like any contract that you sign. Cell phone contract. They tell you, okay, listen, you locked in and stuff at $78 and stuff, $78 a month. You can't get him $50. You can't give them $50 and stuff. Oh well, the economy's bad and stuff. Spot market is a good way to learn what lanes and type of freight you would like to run. Talk to shippers, be nice. You can make your move for the kind. Exactly. That's what the spot market. That's what the spot market is and stuff. Is like the spot market is school. The contract is the contract and stuff is the career that you're talking about going into, based upon what said degree and stuff. Because everybody ain't gonna do dry van. Everybody ain't gonna do reefer. Everybody ain't gonna do containers, so on and so forth and stuff. So thing is, you master up on that skill. When you master up on that skill and stuff, then you take the skills that you learn how to negotiate, and then find the right person. Because if you stick around long enough, you'll find them and say, it ain't no point of you trying to get a contract and stuff, doing tanker, and all you've been doing is reefer loads, and all you got is a reefer trailer. It's no point of trying to lock that contract in, because you ain't gonna know. If you lock it in, you might lock it in and stuff, man, grossly under par, as opposed to somebody who got an understanding and stuff about it. So that's what the spot market teaches you. Let's see, someone. So contract carriers don't star drivers. Um, like I said, the contracts aren't the problem. The management is the problem. Management. So yeah, will they star drivers? Yeah, but eventually everything catches up with them and stuff. And when they find out that you a shady dude and stuff, nobody ain't gonna want to deal with you. So what's the point of having all these contract loads, right? Now this guy got to come over here and bother me. Right when I'm in the middle of this live feed. Hold on, let me see what he needs.
You waiting on a load or something, or
Yeah, just wait for the Okay. Thank you, man. He seen me sick. He seen me here for 3 hours. Good gracious of life. Hey, is my audio coming through all right? Cause I had to cut the truck on, and then it syncs with the radio, and then I don't know if it's speaking through. Okay, all right, Miss Turner. Okay, thank you. So what I was saying is that the management was messing up and stuff. Cause again, once they figure out and stuff that the dude is shady and the is shady or whatever, then they just got a whole bunch of freight nobody wants to haul for them. Because they're like, hey, this dude, this dude for whatever reason, I just don't want to deal with him. So yeah, they will starve you. They will starve you if they. That's why I say, like, when you lease on with people and stuff like that, you got to go into a partnership where they got just as much to lose as you do. Then you ain't got to worry about all that starving, or giving this load to this person or that person and stuff. Because you got some carriers that got contract freight and stuff, and then you got these guys that talk the big stuff, but then when you see them going in those offices and stuff, right? They talk like they bosses and stuff like that. But then you get them in, you see them going there in their office and everything. They in there skinning and grinning. Then they're skinning and grinning, cutting the jig and all that stuff. They're bringing in cookies and cakes and all this other stuff there. You know, tap dancing and stuff like that, being the trucker version of Billy Bojangles. That stuff there, but they supposed to be a boss. But in order to be a boss and stuff, then you on your knees and stuff, talking to some people that you know that you don't need to be doing any of that stuff for. It's business is business. You don't need to go in there and stuff and be nobody friend or nothing like that, or say, hey, listen, let's go play golf and all this other stuff there. You ain't gotta do all that. Not in the world of business. You know, you keep it straight, you keep it straight, you keep it straight and stuff. I think Nipsey Hussle and stuff, and shout out to him, man. He did an interview and stuff, and you know, he put it in better words, man. It's the fact that you don't build up no kind of friendship relationship with people that you're trying to get a contract with. Because when you go into negotiating and stuff, you don't want no kind of distractions. You see what I'm saying? Because you're gonna be as cold and calculated that you need to be and stuff to get as much money as you can. And you can't do it when you're friends now. Y'all friends and hanging out and all that other stuff there. And I mean, again, that's a tactic. Y'all going to play golf and basketball and racquetball, or y'all going over here to the bar later on and stuff, to just talk about other stuff or whatever. Then when you get to the negotiating table, all this stuff trying, it comes like, man, shoot, I can't be shrewd. I can't be shrewd and stuff. But in the world of business, that's what it is. They about being shrewd. They code, they calculate. You look at a lot of these billionaires and stuff like that, millionaires and billionaires and stuff, they not friendly people. They are not friendly people and stuff, man. You meet them and stuff like that, they say, listen, time is money. What you need? What you talking about and stuff? Because the thing that you talking about ain't talking about money, you know. They ain't got time for you. Then when they start negotiating, they give you something like the lowest of the low. But the thing is that they got they got to have that, they got to have that because that's part of their that's a part of their business repertoire and stuff. Not everything is money. Okay, I just did a live feed and stuff. I just did a live feed a couple weeks ago and stuff. I said, man, you're gonna be one of two things. Money is exchanged for services. Yeah, yeah, money is exchanged for services. But the thing is that you got to have the business mentality in order to do it. And so most people, most millionaires and billionaires, people who got money, they don't have good relationships with family members. They ain't got good relationships with plant family members and stuff like that. Look at, like I said, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, he's sitting over here with almost 70 billion. This man got 70 billion. His children don't get nothing. In fact, they out here working in the free market. But my father's a billionaire. You see what I'm saying? So, they don't have good relationships and stuff. A lot of millionaires and billionaires, they don't have good relationships, especially business people. You know, they do not have good relationships and stuff. But that's why most of the things and stuff they get, they got to buy it. They got to buy people to hang out with them. They got to buy people to hang out with them and stuff. Look at Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos probably he's the richest person in the world and stuff like that. But look what he did between him and his wife, and both of them started a business together. You know, um, Donald Trump. Donald Trump and stuff. I mean, real good businessman and stuff. But as far as like people, you gotta you sitting over here paying for sex. You know, it's one of the things you shouldn't have to pay for. If you establish a relationship and all that stuff there, I mean, like I said, that's my perspective. I mean, each his own. But I'm just saying, you a good family person and stuff like that. You got a good relationship with your family. You're not gonna have a lot of money. You have money to pay your bills and all this stuff, but you ain't really inspiring to try to do things and stuff on a business level, because to be in business, you're gonna have to be cold and calculated. You got to tell people no, you ain't getting it. But daggone, you got all that money. You got all that money. Your business and stuff. You over here with millions of dollars and stuff, but you can't buy me a house. You can't buy me a house. You can't buy me a couple cars and stuff. But then on the humanitarian side and stuff, you're like, yeah, I wish I could buy your house and stuff. But your business side get to thinking like, man, yeah, I get to buy this house. I get to buy this house and stuff. I got to worry about taxes on the house, tax on the property, those sort of things there and stuff. Who's going to upkeep that? The maintenance, the overall well-being and stuff. Look at Michael Vick. And man did, he did stuff for his family. Everybody knew what it was. He doing stuff for his family. His family went in there and stuff and they started doing some ratchet stuff, and he got caught up. And they said it's either gonna be you or him. He did the honorable thing and stuff and said, yeah, I'm fighting the dogs. Even though I'm out here, even though I ain't got time because I'm an NFL player and stuff, I got to be out here training, and I'm down here training and so on and so forth. Let's see, SP rates have been down for 2 years. What about the contract? Let's see, SP rates, SP rates. What's SP? Because we had that recession last year. We had that recession last year and stuff. The end part of 2018, and then the end part of 18 and stuff, and then it went into 2019. I think it kind of teetered off around June ish. You know, let's see. Yep. How are you going to keep maintaining stuff you ask? Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? That's the way millionaires and billionaires and stuff. That's how they think. Like, yeah, I can go out here, I can buy this stuff. I can go buy you this $2 million car and stuff, but then you think about the taxes that's involved, the insurance that's involved. Like, shoot, I can buy this two. Let's see. Can you explain to us where you say last time you found route? Let's see. Hold up. Can you explain to us where you say last time to find route to follow? Um, I'm not understand, Lorenzo. I'm not understanding that question. If you can just clarify for me. Can you explain to us where you say last time to find route to follow? Follow routes, not going all the place on you places in USA. Huh? Um, Still kind of lost in there. What are you talking about? Lane rates? Look confused about the question. Amazingly, I've been doing this for a little over an hour, and I haven't gotten that one phone call. I mean, usually I do a live and stuff, man, and um, but yeah, that's the thing there and stuff. Let's see. He is talking about following the rates and where they take you. Um, okay, the rates and where they take you. Let me make sure I got this right, so I don't put out the wrong information. Okay, if you're trying to establish a lane, right? If you're trying to establish a lane, then it's one or two ways and stuff to do it. Now, people think that you go here, there, and everywhere, which means that okay, I start. let's just say I live in North Carolina, for instance, and then I'm gonna take a load out to Texas. So the spots is all unequal. A person might have to advantage based upon on region. Yeah. Okay. Now, all right. Here, there, and everywhere, right? That's the wrong way to do, that's the wrong way to do things and stuff about running the truck. People think these trucks are about just going long distances and stuff like that. So OTR, that comes up and stuff like that. That's not what trucking is about. It's not what trucking is about. Um, Trucking is about providing goods and services from one point to the next and stuff. But you have to have a consistency on what you do. That's what it means to run a certain lane. The lane that you run. So some people sit there, they'll take a load to North Carolina. I live in North Carolina, then I take a load to Texas. Then I go to Texas, and then I pick up a load and go to California. Then I go to California. Now I'm stuck for 3 days in California. Reason being is because I'm a here, there, and everywhere type of person. But when you run a specific lane, right, then the lane has to consist of consistency, meaning that you got freight and stuff that's coming out on a consistent basis, both going and coming. So you build somewhat of a triangle around where you live, right? Where you live should be in the middle of that triangle, and then you run based upon everything in that triangle. So you're never too far away if something comes up and you need to go home, or if you get stuck for the weekend and stuff with a load and stuff, right? And then to go to a motel and all this other stuff, right? And have to kick out more money on things and stuff that's not significant. So, um, the ideal way of trucking, the way of trucking is to get in a lane, establish a lane, run that lane. Now, there are going to be some instances and stuff where you can't do that, right? Your home is here, but then where you make money and where you're running consistently may be um the lane that you run and stuff, right? May be a little bit far away and stuff. Let's take for instance, chasing Andrew Jackson, right? You know, I tell people, look at how he did things and stuff, and then you understand why he's in the position that he's in. Now, once upon, chasing Andrews and stuff, he used to say, you see him and stuff, he always at the house, he chilling and stuff like that. Once upon a time, it wasn't like that. What he used to do, he used to go to tech, he run that oil field out there in Texas. He used to stay out there, man, shoot, 2 months, 3 months at a time. And then he had to catch an airplane and go home for about a week and stuff like that. And then he had to go right back out there. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't no nothing around his house. He stayed out there, he worked, he made his money, and then when he got what he needed and stuff like that, if it was a need for him to go home, then he went home, you know. So you might find yourself in that position there and stuff where you're making money is going to take you completely away from your house and stuff like that. So you run, you make your money and stuff, and then once you make your money, okay, then you go home. The only thing is that you try to work on something better to where eventually, right, you're doing one or two things. Is that you may find business around your house, right, to where you can run, or you may have to move to where the business and stuff is at. You may have to, you may be in one area, you may have to move to Texas, or you may have to move to California and stuff like that, where you got your lane and stuff. Those things and stuff, they happen. But that's the thing there and stuff. It's not about. I used to think that's what trucking was about too and stuff. I'm like, man, shoot, when I first jump out here, I'm about to get me a load of California and this, that, or whatever. And I was with Snyder. And Snyder always kept me moving, but they didn't give me all these long runs and stuff. It's like I pick up a load and I was delivering it the next day and stuff, or I either stay in an area, I get up in Chicago, I might be running in Chicago about 2 days doing local stuff, and then they'll move me from that region to another region, you know. So yeah, it's finding the lane where you can make the money. Now, the thing is that the lane that you get into, right? The lane that you get into and stuff, keep in mind is that it takes time to learn. It takes time to learn this. So the lane that you in, it may be something that you might not like. Okay, because trucking is not about sunshine and roses and always doing things the way we want to do things and stuff like that. This perfect lane and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't like the Northeast. I hate the Northeast. I hate the Northeast and stuff. I hate everything about the North. I hate the tolls. I hate the tolls. I hate the roads. I hate the customers. But I've been doing this for 7 years. You see what I'm saying? I got a consistency. I got a consistency in this and stuff. And I call myself trying to say, well, yeah, I'm gonna run to Texas one day, right? I'm gonna run to Texas one day. I had this truck almost 3 years and stuff. In fact, the only time I went to Texas was to go pick this truck up. But running to Texas and stuff like that, man, it's nice, calm running and stuff. Ain't no traffic jams and stuff like that. The food is good, the customers and stuff like they all right and stuff like that. But the money ain't there. The money's not there and stuff. Not the money I need anyway. You know. So that's the thing there and stuff is that I ran the East Coast and I just became more institutionalized and stuff. Even though it's not prison or nothing, but that's the phrase that comes up, institutionalization. And I done did it so long and stuff, man, that that's just my thing. Um, so listen, fellas, let's see, my phone's about to go dead, so we're gonna go ahead and cut the feed here. Um, we're gonna pick up on it. We're gonna pick up on this and stuff tomorrow. I just don't know what time, so just stay tuned and stuff. I'll post what time and stuff. We'll go up live again and we'll do a summary about everything and stuff that I said today so that, everybody has clarity about what I'm talking about. Guys, I don't want to speak in parables. I don't want to be confusing people. Key teaching is more about finding lanes and key to the end. Okay, yeah, I definitely do that. But like I said, we're gonna do a summary tomorrow and stuff, to make sure that I'm not speaking in parables, that I'm not speaking over nobody's head, because I want people to get total and complete understanding about what I'm talking about. It's no big eyes and small U's and stuff. We all in this together, you know. And so the best way we can do it and stuff is not to make people feel like, I'm I got all the knowledge and I'm so intelligent and I know everything. You don't know anything because you stupid. Ain't no stupid drivers out here and stuff, at least not on my page. The ones that don't subscribe, the ones that subscribe to me and stuff, because we're here to get this information. We're here to chop up this good game and stuff so that the information that we get, we can apply it to what we do and be successful and stuff, in any endeavor and stuff that we get into. So, gentlemen, ladies, I appreciate y'all and stuff. I appreciate y'all hanging in with me. Um, If you got any questions, comments, concerns, and stuff like that, it's the spot market exposed. Yes, it's always been exposed. Always. It's always been exposed. It's no secret about nothing. In fact, the brokers will tell you themselves and stuff, yeah, hey, we steal money. It's no secret. I mean, yeah, this always been exposed. It's for them. All right. Let's see, it was one person up here asked me